Mario Kart World is looking to be one of Nintendo's biggest games of all time, with 24 drivers in each race, the largest tracks in the series, and an open world to freely explore those tracks. But what if I were to tell you, on top of all of that, Nintendo has been hiding the game's biggest mode right under our noses? That's right, we've taken a look at almost every frame of gameplay available about this game, and have good reason to believe that what we've seen of the open world for Mario Kart World isn't even scratching the surface for what's in store when this game eventually launches. From character-exclusive missions, hidden boss fights, and a full-blown campaign, let's take a look at Mario Kart World's story mode. Not only do we think we know what the story mode is, but also what the story within the mode is. And there's so many easy-to-miss details here that we're just going to point out all the evidence we've found that points towards a campaign and then theorize on what exactly it will look like. Just to preface, we obviously don't know about this for sure, but given the Mario Kart Direct just days away, I would not be surprised at all if we learn about this story mode there. To be honest, we've already seen so many characters, new modes like Knockout and Free Roam, and new mechanics that besides the obvious showcase of Battle Mode, please Nintendo, do not mess up Battle Mode, I can't think of anything else that could take up a 25-minute Direct besides a bombshell reveal of a single-player campaign-like mission mode, and Bill Trinen basically said as much. Okay, that's obviously hyperbolic, but when asked about how he could justify the game's $80 price tag from IGN, he said, "Whenever we look at a given game, we just look at what is the experience and what's the content and what's the value." Basically standing on business and saying, don't worry, it will be worth $80. He also said, not to give you any hints or anything, but I did read your article this morning, and I think you had mentioned that you didn't find a lot to discover when roaming around. So I would say tune into our Mario Kart Direct to see what maybe you'll be able to find out about that. They even doubled down during one of the Treehouse gameplay sessions with this clip here.
And once again, there's more to free roam mode than we're talking about here,
Yes.
so please stay tuned
Absolutely.
for the dedicated Mario Kart Direct.
So that's what Nintendo has said, but what have they actually shown us? There are so many things they've shown between the trailer itself, the treehouse, and hands-on footage. First off, let's start with a couple of main features of this supposed campaign. We think one of the main features is going to be recruiting new racers. We were absolutely blown away by the amount of new racers shown off in this trailer, but a weird thing we noticed almost right when the trailer aired is that all of the new weird oddball inclusions can be directly tied to a track itself. As soon as I saw that Moo Moo Meadows was now coming back for every single home console Mario Kart game since Mario Kart Wii when it debuted, and now the cow was raceable, plus all the other bizarre characters, like look, there's the Conkdor here in the art and you can race as a Conkdor, what? The Cataquex from Peach Beach, every single one of these new weird characters suspiciously do not show up on the minimap when you're in free roam. These characters are also different from the other characters as they aren't shown to have different costumes while eating a burger. My theory is that these characters are placed around on the map as different points of interest, and they don't have icons on the map or costumes to unlock because unlocking them is the reward, whether it's for completing a mission or maybe going on a quest for them. Like look at this shot here, Nabbit is just outside of his cart, we know they're raceable, maybe you can go up to Nabbit, do some of his achievements, and then you unlock him as a racer. On the topic of characters, the gameplay during the treehouse shows 8 characters per tab with 10 tabs showed, meaning you'd expect there to be 80 characters in the game. But costumes are randomly taking up spots with no drop-down costume menu like we got in Mario Kart 8, which means either Nintendo has to fire the UI team, or realistically, it's just because, hey, this is a demo. Maybe there are some pretty important characters to the story that they don't want to spoil. I mean, the world map is very clearly set up in different biomes or segments that all kind of have different points of interest, with one major one probably where a boss for that biome lives. Stick with me now, because that could start to explain why very important characters like Diddy Kong and Funky Kong are missing. What if you gotta go find them in this suspiciously Donkey Kong jungle themed area, do a couple quests for them or something, and then that's how you unlock them into the game? This is not crazy at all. You had to do quests to unlock different characters in Mario Kart Wii. This is just tying that to the story mode. Imagine this, you pull up to Nabbit to ask him where the missing Kong characters are, and he tells you only if you'll deliver a package from Whistletop Summit to DK Spaceport in a certain time frame. Once you complete it, Nabbit shows you a zoomed in screenshot that looks like it takes place somewhere in the jungle under a track. You head over over to where he tells you, only to find King K. Rool, who says that the only way to save Diddy Kong is to beat K. Rool in a race. You know, classic Mario Kart logic. Then once you beat him, you unlock Diddy Kong and maybe King K. Rool as well. There could also be one-off bosses, like someone like a PD Piranha or a Goom boss. The possibilities are literally endless here. Maybe an accuracy challenge using the Bob-omb item to unlock King Bob-omb, who once again, I don't think we've seen yet, but for a lot of people was pretty high on their, like, you know, we actually want this character list. Beyond the fact that the demo is almost clearly hiding characters, the demo build for gameplay also seems to have a lot of stuff removed as well. Things like the giant truck Birdo gets in are almost all not in the demos, which made us think certain parts of the game might be a little boring, but what if they are hiding stuff like this for the full reveal and release? Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, there's a whirlpool here shown off with nothing in the middle. It totally seems like a Gooper Blooper should be here. Very easily that could be a boss in the story mode. But one of the more tangible pieces of evidence for the free roam being more than it seems is the collectibles we can spot in this trailer and the treehouse footage. There are 3 collectibles on the bottom left of the free roam mode, with us not knowing what any of them do. P-switches, question blocks, and Peach embedded coins. The question blocks seem to vary from track to track, with Mario Circuit having 10 and Wario Shipyard only having 5. In the treehouse, we see a question mark panel on the ground next to some coins, and we also see P-switches on a lot of different areas in the world. I believe the question marks are used to collect different costumes, and they'll present little challenges that just pop up organically in the overworld. Think about riding around on Plessy in Lake Lapcat and then going through one of those rings, and there's just now like a random time trial where you have to go from ring to ring to ring. That's what these are, I think. They'll be more involved than your standard P-switches though, because they unlock full costumes. None of the collectible uses have been confirmed yet. Maybe the Peach coin could just be an overall coin counter, as we see this bundle of coins here, and there are almost definitely shops you can go spend these sorts of coins, but the fact that it's a Peach styled coin could mean it's for something else. However, it could also just be, oh, we're in the Mushroom Kingdom, they put a picture of the princess on the coins. I don't know. That way they're differentiated from the coins you get in races, because it would be kind of confusing if they wanted to have those not be connected to still use the same generic Mario coin image that they use in the racing. The final piece to the campaign pie is the absence of Rainbow Road. Now, it's entirely possible that to unlock Rainbow Road, you just have to complete all the Grand Prix like in the other games. But I think that would be such a waste, considering all the pieces are here to make unlocking Rainbow Road specifically part of the story. Rainbow Fragment near Crown City is such a massive sign that doesn't look like your typical Mario Kart sponsored sign. On top of that, we've seen the leaked Rainbow Road, which is up in the sky and there's a star in the mountain. Man, I feel like this has got to be pointing towards unlocking Rainbow Road. Another thing that's interesting to think about here is, what if they pull a Tears of the Kingdom and there are sky islands? No, I'm legit serious. Like, not a ton of them, obviously, but the whole point of this game is that there's exploration. We've also seen that they got rid of gliders and instead your cart turns into a plane. What if like Rainbow Road and then a couple of shops and random challenges were all in the sky? Hey, maybe even other Rainbow Roads. The burger itself is still kind of confusing to me as well. It could totally just be a boost that lets you unlock a track-specific costume, but most people I've heard after getting hands-on with the game were just kind of confused by the point of the burger. So I feel like there's definitely more to this whole food gimmick that meets the eye. Not entirely sure how, but to be honest, I just have a straight-up gut feeling, get it with all the food, that it ties into the story mode as well. Even if there doesn't turn out to be a sprawling campaign with cutscenes, I'm almost certain that free roam is how you unlock these track-specific characters. But it would be super lame if all you have to do is find them on the overworld and snap a picture in photo mode to unlock them. However, I don't think that's what this is. Nintendo already talked about how you can do multiplayer free roam online. In fact, it's basically the lobby system for this game when you're waiting before you start a match. I can completely understand why they wouldn't have like all sorts of story NPCs and bosses out in the overworld for the free roam mode. But not gonna lie, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they showed up in the story mode. Having one interconnected Mario Kart World is begging for some sort of campaign. There's an endless number of quests and boss fights they could implement into this open world, and it would truly be a waste of potential if the free roam mode is just a glorified photo mode. From a more business perspective, this just makes sense. We all thought Metroid Prime 4 would be a launch game, but since it still has no release date, that means there's currently no exclusive first-party big single-player launch game for Switch 2. Nintendo has never launched a console without a big single-player game, and I highly doubt they'd want to alienate an entire section of gamers. So even though Mario Kart has never had anything remotely close to a campaign before, shoot, if Mario Tennis can do it, so can Nintendo's highest selling franchise. Everything lines up for a campaign here. The hints from Nintendo themselves, them coming out and pointing to the Mario Kart World Direct as a way to justify an $80 game. There being no Switch 2 exclusive first-party single-player launch game, which is a little wild. The unexplained roster, Rainbow Road, the free roam ambiguity, and all the objects they haven't gone into detail about yet. It really does all point towards some huge campaign or mission mode that at least uses the open world to make you do missions, complete quests, and hopefully fight bosses and uncover the secrets of Rainbow Road. I don't know about you guys, but on top of all the great content we've already seen, a full-blown campaign, like not just a tacked on side mode, a full-blown campaign would make that $80 an easier pill to swallow. I know it's insane to say that, but the possibilities here are super endless. I'm extraordinarily excited for this April Direct. If you made it this far, I'm assuming you are pretty into Mario Kart. So I promise you, if you hit the subscribe button, we'll be doing our best to put out the best Mario Kart content that we possibly can for the Direct and beyond. Appreciate you guys for sticking with us. In fact, click the video on screen right now if you want to hear me talk more in depth about the roster, just specifically the character roster, because somehow even the character roster is still so dang confusing in this game.